Okay, so in this video in 8.6, we're going to look at factoring trinomials. So all you've seen so far is being able to factor out a GCF and then factoring by grouping. And we're actually going to still kind of factor by grouping even so today. So if you recall, we've been doing a lot of those X problems for our ignites. So what do I mean by that? So those X problems, like if I had the number 20 up here and it had to add up to 9, okay, hopefully you're thinking, oh, that would be 4 and 5. So all of that hard work and all of that practice, if you've been participating, it's going to pay off. So zooming in into number 1, to factor a trinomial, we always look at our C value. And as a side note, this is my C value. And anytime I reference an A value, that's the first term with its coefficient. B value, C value. Okay, just FYI, so you know what I'm talking about. So we look at our C value and we ask ourselves, what are factors of 20? Ironically, I just did this one. I didn't even mean to do that, guys. Okay, so what are factors of 20 that add up to 9? Okay, and it just shows you in this last slide, well, that would be 5 and 4. So I'm actually going to rewrite this trinomial, and instead of writing this 9x, okay, I'm going to take it out, and I'm actually going to replace it with 5x and 4x. And then plus 20. So if you notice, I haven't technically changed the problem, right? Because if I were to combine like terms, the 5 and the 4x, it would give me 9x. So I haven't done anything wrong. But now I have a 4-term polynomial, which we know how to group and factor. Group the first two, group the last two. From the first group, I take out the GCF of x. That leaves me with x plus 5. And then from the second group, my GCF is 4, left with x plus 5. So I know I've done this right because this binomial is the same. So my final answer is x plus 4 and x plus 5. So looking at number 2, again, I look to my C value. They have factors of 24 that are going to add up to 11. So if you're struggling with this is always what I start off by doing is I'll take the 24, I write it off to the side. Let's think of factors of 24. So that'd be 1, 24, right? What about 2, 12, 3 and 8, 4 and 6, and I think that's it. So now we want to look at, okay, well, which one of these is going to add up to 11? Well, this one gives me 10, so that doesn't work. Oh, 3 and 8, that does give me 11. So this is what I'm going to use to replace the 11x. So I'm going to expand this, x squared plus. Now you can write either the 3 next or the 8. It actually doesn't matter. But I usually like to think ahead. And I'm going to pair the 8. Since I know I'm going to group the 8 with the 24, I guess technically 3 would go with 24 as well. It really doesn't matter. You can have the 3x go first or the 8. But either way, I'm going to group the first two and the last. From my GCF from the first is x, and I get x plus 3. And then my GCF from the second group would be 8, and I get x plus 3. And so my final answer is x plus 8 and x plus 3. All right, so then from number 3, again, factors of 9 that add to 10. So off to the side, I'm coming up with my factors, not my GCFs. So 1 and 9, 3 and 3. So the only one that's going to add to 10 would be my first one. So I'm rewriting this as t squared plus 1t plus 9t plus 9, group and factor. So my GCF from the first is t, so I get t plus 1. And my GCF from the second is 9, and again I get t plus 1. So my final answer is t plus 9 and t plus 1. And what you actually might notice, okay, hopefully you're noticing a pattern here. I'm going to actually go back to number 1. Notice how what I put in here that are factors of 20 that add up to 9, notice how that they're also in my answer, okay? So that is a pattern when my A value, so my coefficient, is 1. And looking at number 2 again, factors of 24 that added up to 11 were 8 and 3, and notice how they're in my final answer. And then for number 3, factors of 9 that add up to 10 are also in my final answer. So again, just reiterating, if you notice this pattern, if you're catching on, when your A value is 1, you can kind of just jump to that last row. So looking at number 4, sorry if you hear my dog whining in the background, he wants to play. Number 4, so I look at my C value of 12, so factors of 12 that are going to add up to negative 8, okay? So let's just come up with factors of 12. So 1 and 12, we know. 2 and 6, 3 and 4. I don't think I'm missing anything else. So here's a huge red flag. Okay, so its product is positive, but its sum is negative. So that means these both have to be negative, right? Negative times a negative is a positive, but when we add it together, it's still negative. So -2 plus -6 would give me the -8. So then I'm going to put that back in. So x squared, we'll do -2x minus 6x plus 12. Group and factor. My GCF from the first one is x, and I'm left with x minus 2. Okay, remember, that term cannot be negative. Okay, so I'll factor out a -6. Leaves me with positive x minus 2. Awesome, I know I've done it right. Those are the same. So your final answer is x minus 6 and x minus 2. Number 5, hey, what do you notice? Okay, not in standard form. Let's rewrite that. So m squared minus 22, m plus 21. All right, so factors of 21 that are going to add up to 22. My only option is 21 and 1. So I'd write m squared minus, let's do 21m minus 1 plus 21. All right, so my GCF from the first group would be m, leaving me with m minus 21. And then again, can't have that value be negative, so I have to factor out a negative, and the only thing I can factor out is a 1. Sometimes that's just what happens. And I'm left with m minus 21, and my final answer is then m minus 1 and m minus 21. And then finally, number 6. Okay, this one is in standard form, so that's good. Factors of 28 that add up to -11. So off to the side, I'm going to write some options. Okay, I know 1 and 28. And again, I know that they have to both be negative because their product is positive, but their sum is negative. Let's see, -2 and 14. I was going to say 12. Let's see what else. 7 and 4. Okay, that's going to be my option. It's the only thing that adds up to -11. So w squared minus 7w minus 4w plus 28. Group and factor, people. So factor out w, they get w minus 7. Factor out, whoa, that thing's negative, so I got to take out a negative, and the GCF is 4. So then w minus 7. Final answer is w minus 4 and w minus 7.